GACers, yackers, welcome to the GAC Yak, a GAC TV podcast where we yak about the GAC. I'm Chad Maurice, and I've got my Christmas garb on still because we're still yakking about the great American Christmas movies. And today, we're yakking about A Kindhearted Christmas. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get going, what do you think of my hat? Can you see it? Whoa, I'm fading in the background. Whoa, there we go. It's a Christmas tree. Look at that. Even has a star on top. Pretty cool, huh? My brother got me this for Christmas. Had to show it off. So today we are yakking about A Kindhearted Christmas. And off the GAC website, the summary says, faced with spending Christmas alone, Jamie decides to anonymously give back to her community. But can she keep her secret from a handsome reporter who is after the story? Ooh, we shall find out. The movie stars Jenny Garth and Cameron Matheson. It's directed by Elise Liat Rogers and written by Jennifer Barrow and Amin Kaderali. So the movie starts off, we see an overhead shot of a town, little small town, looks nice, covered in snow. We see a house, and outside of the house, there's a sign that says there's 11 days left till Christmas. Inside the house, we see Jenny Garth in her kitchen, drinking a smoothie for breakfast. She's watching TV and going by the name of Jamie. Jamie's watching Cameron Matheson on TV, and he's going by the name of Scott. And he hosts a morning show called Wake Up Upstate. What state? I don't know. They never tell us. Next, we see Corey. He's a field reporter. He's the man on the street. And he's reporting from a cafe in Cooperville. That's the town where Jamie lives. And he says the cafe had a fire a few months ago, and the owner didn't have the money to repair the place. But an anonymous person started an online fundraiser to rebuild the cafe. Ah, that was nice of him. It's Christmas. That's what you do. Whoops, my hat's falling off. Amari, that's Scott's co-host. She mentions that the cafe has great sugar cookies. So Scott makes a deal with Corey. He says, Corey, you bring me some of those sugar cookies and I'll de-ice your parking spot for a week. Whoa, wait a minute. What is de-icing a parking spot? I've never heard that before. I've heard of shoveling a parking spot, but I've never heard of de-icing a parking spot. What's that entail? Anybody know? Let me know if you do know, because I have no idea what they're talking about. Next, we see Jamie leaving her house, and she changes the sign. Oh, there weren't 11 days till Christmas. There's only 10 days till Christmas, which means this movie opens up on December 15th, if my math is correct. Oh, next we see Scott and his co-anchor Amari. They're chatting, and Scott says, "Ooh, one more day of left to work, and then he's off to Belize for vacation." She calls him a Grinch, and he says, "No, I'm not a Grinch. I just don't have anyone to spend Christmas with." Oh, next we see another overhead shot of the town. That's a nice big church there right in the center of the picture there. We see Jamie walking to work, and she's saying hi to everyone because Jamie is a friendly person. On the door that she walks in, there's a sign that says Cooperville Tour and Sightseeing. And this is where Jamie works. In fact, she's not only the owner, she's also a client. Size Sporing, hair club for men. Yes, Jamie owns this place, tourist place. Inside, we see her employee, Colleen, giving her a cup of coffee. And then Jamie and Colleen sit down for their morning chat. Colleen asks her what her plans are for Christmas. And Jamie says she's going to trim the tree with her niece, Kylie. She's going to make cookies, go caroling, and attend the winter carnival. Colleen says, "Hey, you do those same things every year." Then she brings up Jamie's dead husband and says, "The two of you always found new and fun things to do every year for Christmas." And Jamie says, "Yeah, well, Christmas just hasn't been the same since he passed away." She also says that Kylie, which is her niece, and David, which is her nephew-in-law, David's married to Kylie, they're leaving for a week to go to Paris for their honeymoon. So Jamie's going to be all alone for Christmas. So Colleen suggests that Jamie try dating so that she has someone to spend Christmas with. What? Colleen? It's 10 days till Christmas. You want her to meet someone, start dating them, and then invite them over for Christmas? She'd be spending Christmas with a total stranger. You can't know someone after only 10 days. Come on, Colleen, what are you thinking? So this idea goes over like a lead balloon with Jamie, and I can understand why. It makes no sense. Jamie says the only man she's going to spend time with is the mayor, because she needs to convince him that the winter carnival needs a Santa's village and the town hall needs a Christmas tree. Whoa, wait a minute. How bad off is this city? I mean, they can't afford a Christmas tree? I mean, how much are Christmas trees in this town? This is just a really small town. One tree's going to break the city's budget? Oh, that doesn't sound good. Next, we see Jamie talking to the mayor. She's trying to convince him to buy a Christmas tree for town hall. He says, we can't afford a Christmas tree. Since the plant shut down, the budget's real thin. He asks her if she has any ideas that cost less than a tree. She says she does. She says, let's decorate the town's gazebo. The mayor says, I love it, but that sounds way too expensive. She tells him decorating the gazebo would increase business for all the town's small business owners. Huh? How's that going to increase business? Decorating a gazebo? Yeah, when you go to a small town, does your decision whether to shop there or not depend on how many Christmas decorations they have up? No, of course not. That makes absolutely no sense. And my hat's falling off again. She says the town has some lights and storage that she can use, but she's going to hire someone to do it. Wait, she's going to hire, and the mayor goes along with his idea. Yeah, let's hire someone to decorate the gazebo. Wait a minute. You can't afford a Christmas tree, but you can afford to pay someone to decorate the gazebo? I mean, how much are trees in this town? This is just a small town. I'm guessing the Christmas tree's like $50, 75 tops. I mean, this ain't New York City. And what are you going to pay this guy to decorate the gazebo? Minimum wage? $10 an hour? $20 an hour? How many hours are going to take him? They come 8 hours, 10 hours? It's going to take him 2 days? Let's think about this. I'm guessing that it's going to cost the city more to pay someone to decorate the gazebo than it would be to buy a Christmas tree. No wonder this town doesn't have any money. I think the mayor's a moron. He doesn't make smart decisions. I think we need to have a new election and elect a new mayor. Then we see Corey back at the TV station. He's talking to Amari. He's saying his family gave him a Caribbean cruise for the holidays. Whoa, that's awesome, Corey. But he's all bummed. He says he can't go because he has no one to cover his shift. So Scott says, oh, don't worry, Corey, I'll cover your shift. Scott's a nice guy. So he gives up his trip to Belize. Oh, tree trimming scene. Yeah, we see Jamie, her niece Kylie, and her nephew-in-law David. They're trimming a tree and they're hanging ornaments and they're reminiscing about the memories that the ornaments bring back. They tell Jamie that they've postponed their honeymoon to France because they can't afford it. So they're going to save money for a home instead. Kylie also says she got a job offer in Seattle and they're moving next month. Oh, Jamie's not happy about that. Then they start reminiscing about Jamie's husband and how he always had the Christmas spirit. Ooh, this gives Jamie an idea. Ooh. She looks at a picture of her husband on the mantle. She's thinking, ooh, I have an idea, a way I can preserve my the memory of my husband. What is her idea? We'll find out. Next, we see Jamie watching Scott on TV. He introduces a high school music teacher and her quartet. She says the quartet's has been invited to D.C. to play for the president at the White House Christmas party, but they don't have the money for the trip, so they're going to hold a benefit concert to raise the money. Then we see Jamie on the phone. She's calling her niece, Kylie. She asks her if she wants to go to this benefit concert with her. Oh, now we see Jamie hiring the guy to decorate the gazebo. And this guy's all excited about how much they're going to pay him. Wait a minute. The mayor said, couldn't afford a tree, but we'll pay this guy to decorate the gazebo. So that means they're going to pay this guy less than what a Christmas tree costs to decorate the gazebo. Now, would you be happy to be paid less than what a Christmas tree costs to spend like 2 days decorating a gazebo? No, of course not. This just confirms my theory, that they're going to pay this guy more than what a tree costs. Because this guy's thrilled. I mean, if this guy wouldn't be thrilled if they were paying him like 30 or 40 bucks. He wouldn't be, but he would be thrilled if they were paying him like 200 bucks or 300 bucks. Whoa. Then he would be thrilled. Anyway, he says he's selling his truck. He can't afford to pay his bills. And he can't afford to buy a Christmas gift for his kids. But oh, this money that the town's going to pay him to decorate the gazebo, this is going to help out a lot. Then we see Jamie, Kylie, and David. They're in the audience at that benefit concert. And we find out that Scott is Jamie's TV crush. Jamie and Scott have a meet greet, and there's instant attraction. At least on Jamie's part, anyway. Then Scott starts interviewing Jamie on TV, and oh, it's an awkward interview. Jamie's all uncomfortable because she's standing next to her TV crush, and all she talks about is how far she traveled to get there. Then the woman, that high school music teacher, she gets an anonymous donation for the full amount of money that they need for the trip to DC. She gets all excited and she grabs the microphone from Scott and she starts thanking whoever donated the money to the camera. Then she gives Scott a big hug. Then we see Jamie in the audience smiling. And then the viewer realizes, yes, Jamie is the one who donated the money. Then we see Colleen back at the tour office. She's watching the interview Jamie did on TV. She tells Jamie that she and Scott would make a cute couple. Then they get a phone call that someone donated a Christmas tree to the town to put up in front of town hall. Then we see the mayor getting the Christmas tree. Now take a look at the truck. Look at the size of the bed on that truck. Doesn't look like a very big bed. Looks like it's maybe about a 6-foot bed. The tree's hanging over the truck maybe by, I don't know, a foot. So this is like maybe a 7-foot tree, tops. So this tree is an inexpensive tree. There's no way this tree costs more than 50 bucks. That's my theory anyway. Who donated the tree? The mayor doesn't know. It was an anonymous donation, but I bet we know who donated it. Oh, Scott and Amari, they're back at the TV station. She tells him about this tree donation that was donated to the town, so he says he's going to Cooperville to do a story about it. Then we see Scott on TV. He's reporting about the tree, and he's interviewing the mayor in front of town hall. He looks over his shoulder, and who does he see? He sees Jamie scoping out what's going on. So he asks the mayor, hey, who's that? Even though they already met at the auditorium at the benefit concert. The mayor says, oh, that's Jamie. She works over at the tour place. So Scott pays Jamie a visit, and she gets all embarrassed, puts a folder in front of her face. He says he needs a tour. She says, oh, you're out of luck. The tour van already left. But Colleen volunteers Jamie to give him a tour. Next, we see a gazebo. Jamie is showing Scott this gazebo on their tour. And this is not the gazebo that the mayor once decorated. We see that one later in the movie. This gazebo is much smaller. But I'm wondering, how many gazebos does this town have? This is just a small town. Then we see Jamie and Scott sitting on the bench looking at the gazebo, and they're telling each other their life stories. Then they're walking back to the tour place, and he asks her out to dinner. And she says, okay, call me. Then we see Jamie and Kylie trimming the tree at Kylie's husband's toy store. David, apparently he owns this toy store. Kylie says she's been inspired by all these Secret Santa gifts. And so she's created all these cards for the kids at the shelter for them to write the toy that they want for Christmas on this card. And she's hanging these cards on this Christmas tree so that when people come into the toy store, they can pick a card off the tree and buy a toy for the kids. Then we see the sign outside Jamie's home, 8 more days till Christmas. Jamie's watching Scott on TV. Scott's saying, hey, he loved his visit to Cooperville. He had a great tour and a great tour guide. And his co-host notices how happy he is. So she wants to know who the girl is that he met. He says, oh, her name's Jamie. And his co-host says, you should give her a call. Then we see Jamie leaving her house to go to work. She changed the sign to 7 days of Christmas. Oh, tricked again. There weren't 8 days. It was only 7 days. Oh, so then Scott calls Jamie and asks her out to dinner. Jamie freaks out. Now we see the decorated gazebo. And this is definitely a different gazebo than the one Jamie showed Scott on the tour. Now check out all these decorations. This place is loaded with decorations. This definitely costs more to decorate than a Christmas tree would have cost for Town Hall. And speaking of Christmas trees for Town Hall, the mayor said earlier that they couldn't afford to buy one Christmas tree for Town Hall. Well, look how many Christmas trees are in that gazebo. There's 4 of them. So they couldn't afford to buy one tree for Town Hall, but they bought 4 trees for this gazebo. This mayor has no clue. What is this mayor thinking? Oh. Then the mayor tells Jamie, hey, the shelter received a donation. And he asks her if she knows anything about it. She says, what? What are you talking about? Why would I know anything? What I'd like to know is where's Jamie getting all this money for all these Secret Santa gifts? Remember, the town doesn't have any money. The mayor said that earlier. And there's no tourists coming into the town. No tourist means no money. Jamie owns a tourist business. If there's no tourists coming into town, she doesn't have any money either. So I'm not sure what's going on here. The mayor also tells her that he called Scott to come back to do a story about the shelter donation. And she's like, uh-oh, eventually this guy's going to figure out that she's the Secret Santa. The mayor says all this publicity will bring tourists and money into the town. Hey, that's the smartest thing the mayor said so far. You're right, Mayor. Publicity on TV will definitely bring tourists and money into the town. Not decorating a gazebo. That's not going to do anything. Then we see Scott interviewing Kylie outside the shelter. She tells him that a truck showed up full of canned goods, pasta, bread, and milk. And everything was ordered online, and she has no idea who purchased it. Ooh, now we see Scott and Jamie out on their dinner date. She asks him if he's ever been married. He says, I came close one time with another reporter. He says that he was ready to settle down and start a family, but she wasn't. She then asks him if he should continue snooping to find out who the Secret Santa is. After all, it's supposed to be a secret. Ah, you're absolutely right, Jamie. It's supposed to be a secret. He says his viewers are loving it, and he owes it to them to keep looking. Do you really, Scott? I don't know. They get some hot chocolate after dinner. She mentions her deceased husband and says she hasn't dated anyone since he passed away. Then she takes him to the gazebo that they paid to get decorated. They look up and they see mistletoe. Oh, you know what happens when you see mistletoe. They go in for a kiss and they're interrupted by carolers. Come on, those darn carolers. They ring your doorbell and interrupt dinner, and they interrupt kisses. Then she starts to tell him that she's the Secret Santa, but she changes her mind. We see another overhead shot of the town. That's nice. Then Jamie goes back to the tourist place, and she tells Colleen that she's the Secret Santa. Colleen says, oh, that's awesome. I want to help out. She says, how about I help you do the Secret Santa gifts so you can spend more time with Scott? Colleen also tells her that she should act all Scroogey around Scott so that he doesn't suspect anything. Next, we see Colleen sneaking into David's toy store in disguise, wearing a scarf on her head and some sunglasses. David recognizes her instantly. She says she wants to buy a bunch of toys for the kids at the shelter. He asks her if she's the Secret Santa. She says no, but she works for a client who is the Secret Santa. And this David guy, he's not smart enough to figure out that Jamie is the Secret Santa. He knows that Colleen works for Jamie, and he's married to Jamie's niece. But he can't figure out that Jamie's the Secret Santa? What? That doesn't make any sense. I think David and his mayor ought to get together. This town would be in trouble with those two running it. Next, we see Kylie. They're back at the tourist place where Jamie owns. Kylie tells Jamie that someone bought all the gifts for the toy drive for the kids in the shelter. And she also wants to know why Jamie didn't tell her that she's dating Scott. Then we see Scott interviewing David at the toy store. He wants to know who bought all the toys. And David says it was a 6-foot woman with curly blonde hair and a cane, trying to throw him off the case. Then Jamie and Kylie are out having lunch. Scott comes in. Kylie asks him if he wants to join them for dinner. He says, sure. Then we see them serving food at the shelter. After they're finished serving food, they sit down for dinner. Scott tells Kylie and David that they're going to love France. And they tell him that they can't afford to go. My hat's getting crooked again. Whoop, there we go. Trying to keep this thing on my head. It's a tall hat. See, look at that. Keeps falling off. Then Jamie gets a text message from Colleen and remind her to be Scroogey around Scott. So she starts acting like a Scrooge, and they all look at her funny. They can't figure out why she's acting so weird. Oh, then we see another overhead shot of the town. Next day, Kylie confronts Jamie and says, I know, you're the Secret Santa. She says, I figured it out because of how strange you were acting at dinner the night before. Kylie says she wants to help. Why don't we give some gifts to a family in need? Then we see Jamie at the grocery store. She's stuffing a bunch of groceries into her car. Scott drives up and catches her. He wants to know what she's doing. He says, hey, why'd you buy so many groceries? She says, hey, it's Christmas. You got to stock up. Then he asks her out to dinner again. Next, we see Kylie, David, and Colleen. They're outside someone's house putting on disguises. Ooh, that's never good when you see someone outside your house putting on disguises. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. Kylie's got on a leopard print Santa hat and some red sunglasses. David's putting on a Santa beard. And Colleen has these futuristic looking green sunglasses on. She looks like the Terminator. They pull a Christmas tree out of their car and they put it on this person's front porch and they leave a die-hard note that says, ho, 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 now I have a machine gun. Then they ring the doorbell and they run off. The owner of this house, he comes out and he starts looking around. He walks out into his driveway and he's looking all around, left and right, up and down, and he can't see their car, which is parked right at the end of his driveway. What's going on there, guy? And they're hiding behind their car, but they're looking right at him. They got their heads poked up, and they actually have their cameras out, and they're filming video of him. And he still can't see him, even though he's standing in his driveway. They're right at the end of his driveway. I think instead of bringing this guy a tree, they should have brought him a pair of glasses. Oh, now we see Jamie. They're out on their romantic dinner date. And old Scott, that sly fox, he rented out the entire restaurant. They're chowing down on Cornish hens and mashed maple sweet potatoes. She asks him if he is glad he stayed in town for Christmas, and he says, yes, ma'am, otherwise I wouldn't have met you. Oh, she likes that answer. They share some Christmas crackers, which are these paper things that you pull apart, makes a big snapping sound, and there's jokes inside. And, ooh, the star in my hat's getting crooked. And Scott's joke says, who is Santa's favorite singer? Elvis Presley. Oh my, what a joke. Oh, there's also crowns inside. So they put the crowns on. Then they start dancing with these crowns on, and he dips her. Uh-oh, look out. When a woman gets dipped in one of these movies, it's all over. So they start making out. Oh, then Scott gets an anonymous call. It's a video from Kylie. Well, it's a video of Kylie, David, and Colleen dropping off all these gifts on this person's front porch. He runs to the TV studio to do a story about this. Jamie tells Kylie and Colleen, man, a lot of K's in there. Anyway, Jamie tells Kylie and Colleen that she's feeling guilty because she didn't tell Scott that she's a Secret Santa. Although there's no need to. It's supposed to be a secret there, Jamie. Don't tell him. Don't tell anyone. Scott comes in, surprise, tells them that he has found the Secret Santa. All right, I got to adjust my hat again. Jamie's like, what? Scott says he's going to interview the guy right now. So Jamie asks if she can go with him. So they go to meet this guy. And this guy's lying through his teeth. Jamie can tell. She starts asking him all kinds of specific questions, specific details about the Secret Santa gifts. Then Scott realizes that this dude's not the Secret Santa. He just wants publicity for his tire shop. So this dude gets frustrated. He gets up and leaves. Then later, Jamie calls Scott and leaves him a voice message. She wants him to meet her at the auditorium where they first met. She says she will be there with the Secret Santa. Then Kylie takes Jamie to the shelter and shows her that all her Secret Santa gifts have inspired others to give. And the shelter is full of toys and clothes that people have donated and purchased. And then Jamie tells Kylie that she is going to tell Scott that she's the Secret Santa. Kylie gets on the phone and calls her husband David, tells him to meet her at the auditorium. Oh, then we see another overhead shot of the town. This one's at night. Some Christmas lights are on. Scott meets Jamie at the auditorium. Kylie comes out from backstage and says that she is the Secret Santa. Colleen comes out from behind the tree and says, no, she's not the Secret Santa. I'm the Secret Santa. Then David pops up and says, they're not the Secret Santa. I'm the Secret Santa. Scott's like, what's going on? He's all confused. I'm confused. Jamie's confused. Jamie says, look, don't pay any attention to them. They're not the Secret Santa. I am. Scott throws his hands up in the air. He gets all upset for absolutely no reason. Says, Jamie, you've been lying to me this whole time? Hey, listen, buddy. You have no reason to be upset. It's called a Secret Santa for a reason. It's supposed to be a secret. It has the word secret right in the title. You're not supposed to tell anyone. So the fact that this guy gets mad, I don't understand it. Makes no sense to me. Oh, then we see another overhead shot of the town. Ooh, this time there's more snow. I like that. Oh, actually, that's my background. I like it. Then we see Jamie changing the sign in front of her house. Only 2 days left till Christmas. It's getting close. Next day, Kylie and David stop by Jamie's tourist place to check on her to see how she's doing. She says, don't worry. I'll be fine. Colleen tells them a package came for them. Apparently, they get mail at Jamie's tourist place instead of their house. They open it up, and it's airline tickets to France. They're like, hey, what's going on? So they start to thank Jamie, thinking that they're from her. Jamie says, hey, I don't know anything about this. I had nothing to do with those. Then Kylie, is it Kylie? Yeah, Kylie tells Jamie to call Scott. So she starts to, but she changes her mind. Then we see Scott at the TV studio. Someone left him a package. He opens it up, and it's a Christmas card and a flash drive. And on the flash drive are pictures of the Cooperville townfolk doing good deeds for each other. Oh, and this makes Scott's heart grow three sizes bigger than it is. And miraculously, he forgives Jamie for not telling him that she was the Secret Santa. Forgave her awfully fast. Got mad at her awfully fast. Forgave her awfully fast. So on this flash drive are pictures of people doing nice things. This guy's carrying groceries for someone. This woman's giving money to Santa Claus. This guy is shoveling snow for someone. Oh, this dude's helping the guy they hired to decorate the gazebo. He's helping out. Oh, and then we see a nice picture of Jamie and Kylie. Scott goes on TV and Mari asks him who the Secret Santa is. Scott lies and says, I don't know. Way to go, Scott. Then we see Jamie looking cute in a cute pair of PJs watching Scott on TV. Amari says to Scott, looks like you got your holiday spirit back. And she wants to know where he's spending the holidays. She also tells him to call Jamie. Then we see Jamie pacing around her house debating whether to call Scott or not. I think instead of debating whether to call Scott or not, she should be debating about why she put that Christmas tree in the middle of the room. I've never seen a Christmas tree in the middle of a room like that. Usually it's against the wall or in the corner of a room. Well, look at that. It's right inside the front door. You walk right in, you walk right into the tree. Kind of weird, but oh well, to each his own. Jamie then goes to the TV studio to find Scott. Amari says, you just missed him. He already left. But you should give him a call. She calls him, leaves him a voice message apologizing for not telling him that she was a Secret Santa, even though she has nothing to apologize for, because you don't tell someone that you're a Secret Santa, someone you've only had 2 dates with. Come on. Besides, it's supposed to be a secret anyway. Then we see the mayor at the gazebo talking with Jamie. And the mayor says, I know it was you. I know you're the Secret Santa. I knew it was you the whole time. And he says, that was a nice thing you did for the town. Then she turns around to head home, and Scott comes walking up. They tell each other how amazing each other are, or they tell each other how amazing each other is, and then they apologize to each other, even though Jamie has nothing to apologize for. He tells her that he is the one who bought those Paris plane tickets for Kylie and David. And then they promise each other that no more secrets. But Jamie says, not until next year. Yes! Jamie's going to have more secrets next Christmas. I love it. And then they start smooching, and that is the end of the movie. So, I enjoyed this movie. This movie gets a thumbs up from me. I always enjoy movies that are about Secret Santas. I think those are fun. And if you like those also, there's a really good one that was made back in 2009 called Christmas Angel, which starred Bruce Davison. And I think GAC may have shown this one back in December, but it's a really good one. Highly recommend it. I do have some problems with this movie, though, this Kindhearted Christmas movie. Some questions arise, like I mentioned before, where's Jamie getting all her money to give all these Secret Santa gifts? Did her husband leave her a bunch of money? I don't know. Like I said before, the town doesn't have any money. There's no tourists. Jamie owns a tourist place. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Also, it doesn't make sense to me that Scott gets mad that because Jamie didn't tell him that she was the Secret Santa. Like I said before, it's supposed to be a secret. So she shouldn't have told him. And there's no reason that he gets mad when he finds out. But anyway, I like this movie. You'll like this movie. I think it's a good one. I enjoyed it. As far as my Great American Christmas ranking goes, this one's number 1, ahead of Royally Wrapped for Christmas. Although, that's not saying much, because this is only the second Christmas movie that I've reviewed. So, we'll see what happens as I review more. I still have A Christmas Miracle for Daisy to review, and also Jingle Bell Princess. So we'll see if one of those knock this one out of the number 1 spot. But go watch this movie if you've seen it. Let me know what you thought of it. I can be reached at GAC TV Podcast and at Chad Maurice on social media. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, you keep your head up, keep smiling, and keep yakking and gacking.